Hi everyone, a very good afternoon to you all. Now, as the topic suggests itself, so like if you talk about the left, the left has been in a meltdown following the social media discussions on the religious identity of Aftab. A Muslim man who identified as a feminist and also a LGBTQ rights reporter. But for a long time now, they have been harping on the religious identities of perpetrators. When it's squared with their propaganda. So the left outrages on your discussions over Aftab's religious identity in Shraddha murder case. So here's how it kind of cherry picked and spread misinformation over hate crimes. Now, this case has literally, shook the entire nation. It has taken the nation by storm, and it is truly a brutal murder. Like earlier this week, the bone-chilling details of the Shraddha murder case shook the collective conscience of the country. Shraddha, an unsuspecting Mumbai girl with a bright future ahead of us, was perhaps unaware of the fate awaiting her when she shunned her parents and moved to Delhi to live with her live-in partner, Aftab, who turned out to be a monster who brutally killed her. Aftab met Shraddha in Mumbai while working at a call center, as the news suggests, and Shraddha fell in love with Aftab and eloped from her home after her parents disapproved of her relationship with him. The duo thereafter began living together in the Mehrauli area of Delhi, and Aftab was reportedly miffed with the victim for asking him to marry her. And on May 18 this year, he strangled her to death. It was, not just strangling, you know. Perhaps by now we all are aware what actually happened with her and how the murder took place and how it took its turn. The accused, who's Aftab Poonawala, then purchased a refrigerator and stored her body in it for several days. He chopped his partner into 35 pieces, and disposed of them at 18 different locations in Delhi. In the meanwhile, he dated other girls who came to his home, even as severed parts of Shraddha's body were kept inside the fridge. Reportedly, he would go out every night at 2 a.m. to dump the body parts and destroy the evidence of his heinous crime. The sheer brutality of the crime naturally attracted prying social media eyeballs who expressed their outrage and disgust at the ghastly murder of Shraddha by her live-in partner Aftab. So it's simply horrifying and terrifying at the same time. I mean, how cruel can the person be? While social media users they voiced their belief at the utter inhuman behavior of Aftab, some of them, most notably those belonging to the left-leaning intelligentsia, were more concerned that Aftab's name and religion inevitably featured in online conversation over the murder. And it was bound to happen, when a country where love jihad is such a hot topic of discussion, when such a case comes in where the accused is a Muslim and the victim is of the other religion, especially Hindu. This was bound to happen. Now they tried to leverage the unfortunate death of Shraddha to peddle the Muslim victimhood narrative and blamed Sanghis for communalizing the murder of a Hindu girl at the hands of a Muslim living partner, even though religion played no explicit role in driving the perpetrator towards committing an act of such brutality. The left leaning intellectuals and also the closet Islamists were more obsessed with the name and the religion of the perpetrator being talked about rather than the brutality he inflicted on her. Not only killing her, but clinically cutting her into 35 pieces and then meticulously planning to dispose of her severed body parts in different locations across the national capital. India is a deeply religious society, and ipso facto, discussions would inevitably veer around the religious identity of a person who committed an act of savagery that sent the entire nation into shock and distress. A raft of left leaning liberals made a beeline to express shock and dismay, not at the death of Shraddha, but at how the case has gone viral on social media. Because the identity of the person who killed her was a Muslim. Safura Zargar, like best known for arranging a flash protest at Jafrabad metro station in Delhi on February 22, that that later culminated into full-scale communal riots, leaving 53 killed and countless others injured, took to Twitter sounding all but defensive for Aftab Punawala. And this is what she wrote: Abdul Punawala is not being garlanded. He is in jail. He won't get bail, nor will he get a remission. I think she has misspelled the name. It should be Aftab Punawala. And she further goes on to say that he will not get a ticket to fight any election and nobody will campaign for him. And rightly so. So, yes, take a good look at yourself, please. Then we have RJ Saima, who has a habit of going hammers and tongs when the culprit is a non Muslim and the victim is Muslim, even when the crime is not religiously motivated, mouthed off platitudes after Shraddha's murder by Aftab. And she tweeted, "A monster brutally murdered a girl. Those harping on religion in this case are the killers of civilized society. Shameful." Now, even though she has been at the forefront of indulging in behavior that would, by her definition, amount to killing a civilized society. She further said, if the motive of killing or attacking is based on religion, it's called communal. Then the religion of the criminal should be discussed. Basic hai. Seems you are not just an ignorant, you're a tool of hate propaganda as well. And why this fake profile? Now, discussing the discussions about the religion of the murder of the criminal are happening more than the gruesome and the brutal act of the murder, and what kind of suffering the victim might have gone through. Rather than discussing that, people are discussing more about the religion and the identity of the culprit as well as the victim. And also, there was a social media user who implied that the degree of outrage witnessed currently would have been different if the perpetrator was Anubhav and not Aftab. A clear insinuation that the outrage was religiously motivated. And others too joined in to question the outsized media coverage of Shraddha's murder and the resultant outrage it generated. So, this is what's happening. It's, I mean, seriously, it's just unfortunate, it's inhuman. I mean, these are the adjectives that, one could think of after what has happened and what's happening after the heinous crime and after looking at what's happening after it. So, the others also, they insinuated that the, disproportionate attention to Shraddha's murder is on account of her killer's religion, which in this case is Islam. Is Islam. No, such kind of statements and such kind of opinions. I mean, these are just not just, these are really, you know really unfortunate, and what can you say about it? They should not be welcome at all. These are you must be lacking civic sense in order to give such kind of opinions. These are really unfortunate and really uncivilized opinions of people. When they are bringing in the religion of the criminal and the victim, and they are discussing on that instead of talking about the psycho killing nature, the inhuman behavior that the humans are stooping down to these days. That killer's identity and religion are being talked about is a testimony to the communalization of the incident. And this is something which, the others that we were talking about have also averred. And some of them even alluded that similar cases of savagery in other cases go unnoticed in the media because the perpetrator is a non-Muslim. Now, that's, I mean, that's another uncivilized opinion, I would say. That's another inhuman opinion. Because I don't think that happens in our country. I mean, it's the criminals who are always punished, and, if it's needed, even death penalty is awarded to them, regardless of their religion. Yes, the investigation should take place, you know, on the grounds of love jihad, but discussing more on the religion of the accused, the convict, the victims, the perpetrator, rather than discussing about the inhuman behavior and the suffering that the victim might have gone through, and how, you know uh, how can the victim be pulled out from that terrible situation, you know is simply terrifying and horrifying at the same time. Like, when you are discussing more about the religion of the victim and the perpetrator. And the left also cherry picks data, and it selectively cites instances to promote its narrative. While there is some merit in the argument that there were no religious connotations in Shraddha's murder, and that her killing was a result of perhaps a psychologically disturbed man with anger issues, the fact that his religion and identity did factor in online discussions because of obfuscatory practices instituted by the left leaning media. The left leaning media houses and intellectuals, they conveniently reveal the identity of killers and the victims when it suits their agenda. When the perpetrator belongs to a minority community, especially from Islam, the media organizations pull a wheel over the identity of the culprit, even if the motive of the crime has religious overtones. On the contrary, when the victims belong to a minority community, or cases that bore the brunt of historical discrimination, the same media organizations and commentariats find no qualms in citing their religion and caste, even though it had no bearing on the crime committed. So that's truly, inhuman and unfortunate and uncivilized on the part of these media houses. When you're discussing more about the religion rather than discussing about the suffering that the victim might have gone through, and how the victim can be pulled out from that terrible situation so that they can, you know they or their family can get back to a normal life, although which is something, extremely difficult when such gruesome act occurs. So we truly need to introspect, and we truly need to sit and think where we are going. But it's better late than never, I think, if we truly analyze where we are going wrong and we try to correct ourselves. I think such brutal acts can be avoided, and perhaps many, you know youngsters, or many talented individuals who can who who, who could be a great asset to the nation can be saved, and in due course would be great servants for the nation. And each and every human life is invaluable. Each and every human life must be preserved and must be safeguarded. So that's it for tonight, for this video. And we truly need to introspect, and we truly need to find out where we are going wrong. We truly need to correct ourselves. And at the same time, the perpetrators and the culprits of such crimes need to be punished severely, so as to set an example so that such crimes do not happen in future. And measures need to be taken to avoid such brutality, such horrific and uncivilized, heinous crimes. So that's it for the time being. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Jai Hind.